In this village, the old woman lives entirely outside the social fabric. There are no children to send money, no relatives to check in, and no community net to catch her if she falls. This white line is her baseline for survival. Against threatening seasons, a house is the primary variable keeping an elderly body functioning. When those walls are removed, survival probability plummets toward zero. At her age, becoming homeless is rarely temporary. It is the final chapter. Her own body is increasingly frail, prone to the aches of the damp and the cold. Against this vulnerability, the mud and brick walls of her home remain the only thing that does not weaken. To the outside world, this house is a meager hut. To her, it is the boundary between existing and disappearing. A sudden noise from the village square breaks the silence of her afternoon, drawing her toward a crowd gathered around the butcher's block. The goat stands at the center of the noise, its eye blinking slowly. It shows no resistance, only a quiet, heavy presence as it waits for a fate it cannot comprehend. In the animal's silent, overlooked suffering, the woman recognizes a mirror of her own isolation. They are both small, solitary figures in a village that values only what is useful. To stop the butcher, she needs the one thing she has never possessed in excess: currency. The price for the animal's life is fixed, and it is a sum that she cannot find in her pockets. In this local economy, transactions are based on utility, not sentiment. Without the required notes, her desire to help cannot change the outcome. She is caught between the requirement to protect her own life and the immediate, visible pulse of another living creature. The village operates on a simple logic. Livestock are commodities, and human self-preservation is the only rational priority. To intervene is to invite ridicule. In a place where every resource is counted, trading security for an animal's life is seen as a break from reality. She knows the physical cost of what she is considering. Without her roof, she loses her protection from the monsoon and her only place of warmth. Sleeping outside is a direct confrontation with the environment. Freezing winds move through bare trees and alleyways, stripping heat from anyone without a hearth. Her mind weighs the basic instinct to stay safe against a sudden, overwhelming need to shield the defenseless. The logic of self-interest fails to hold her back. The sight of the animal's vulnerability has become more pressing than her own need for a roof. She walks away from the butcher and approaches the property buyer, ready to trade the only thing of value she owns. The deal is finalized with a thumbprint on a weathered deed. She surrenders the rights to her home, receiving a small stack of worn notes. The villagers watch in disbelief. Seeing a woman discard her future for a trade that makes no economic sense, she does not stop to count the money. She walks back to the square and places the full amount into the butcher's hand. The jute rope is untied and falls to the ground. The goat is free, and the transaction is complete. In this moment, she has prioritized a single heartbeat over her own lifelong security. The villagers are left to reconcile their own rules of value with the sacrifice they have just witnessed. The old woman and the goat walk together, leaving the mud brick house behind and moving out into the open village paths. She is now homeless and without assets, yet she moves with a sense of quiet composure, her attention fixed on the animal walking beside her. The idea of protection changes here. The safety once provided by stationary walls has been replaced by the act of shielding another creature. She no longer has a door to lock or a fire to sit by, but she has the companionship of a life that would have ended without her intervention. By every standard of the village census, she is now at her poorest. But in choosing to protect the defenseless, she has found a sense of purpose that the walls alone could never provide. A house of mud and brick shields the body from the wind, but the act of becoming a sanctuary for another protects the very things that make us human.